look so much nicer. That is a comment that we get very frequently. Why don't we just paint it, or clean it, or just make it look nicer? And it's a completely understandable question.
Why don't you just paint the house? It would look so much nicer. That is a comment I get very frequently. Not on every video, but a lot. Or why don't I just clean it or make it look nicer? To me this is not a completely understandable question. And I also have not asked myself this at any point. And because it appears in every video, this is probably why we get this question so much. Because it would look so much nicer with a little paint. Unfortunately, the answer to why we not paint this house, it's a little bit more complicated. So let me be your voice of reason and tell you why it's not so easy to just paint the house. It would be so nice if we can just paint it. But there are many things that need to be done before we can actually paint this house. So let me try and explain to you why it's not as simple as just painting the house. I actually don't very well understand why people say that we should paint this house, if you look at the state of it. As you can see here, we made new window frames. A long time ago already. This was actually the first time I ever cemented window seals. Alex from Quinta Fonte de Pipa, he helped me out. But these still need to be finished off, guys. So for instance, here on the corners, they need to be a little bit more redone. And here also, I heightened it up, but this still needs to be rendered off before we can even think about putting a lick of paint on there. The same basically goes for all the door frames. So I made here a nice lintel. And these are a little bit better done, but still also they need to be like finished off here on the sides and on the top, so that it blends nicely into the existing render. At least, because talking about the existing render, we need to see where the render is coming off. As you can see here, the render has not been, how you say, attached to the wall very well, and you can hear in certain spots that it's hollow behind the render. Look, there's all kind of small stuff falling off, so we need to go, basically this whole side of the house, we need to check the render that is on there and take the parts off that are not attached to the wall anymore. And then of course those need to be re-rendered also. There's also certain parts where the stone is sticking out too far, so where we need to cut it a little bit back. And also in some parts of the window framing we need to either cut it a little bit back or cement it in with the existing wall. But for that basically we first need to see which parts are still good of the existing render. And we also have certain parts where the door frames still need to be done. And a little bit more work even, because this door frame still needs to be heightened. Also this window still needs to be replaced. Basically that's going to look like this. But also this is not finished yet. Here on the top we need to redo it a little bit. And here on the bottom it's still a complete mess. Then if we look at the side of the house here, you see that a lot in the top there also still needs to be rendered off, because I heightened up the wall to make it level. Well, not level, straight. And this wall, for instance, is not waterproof. And because my house doesn't have an overhang here, this actually needs to be made waterproof. So this is going to be probably re-rendered also. And then we need to see how high we're gonna end up with the floor level here, to see what we still need to do here. This is now waterproof, but because the top is not waterproof, water will seep in and still go into the tijolo, into the very porous bricks that are behind here. Those bricks. So yeah, and maybe even here in the top I want to make sort of a ridge, like over the roof tiles, because it's not very nice how this looks at the moment. So this is nowhere near paint ready. Also, we're still going to remove this whole patio floor here eventually. So we'll probably damage the bottom of the render that is currently on there. So that also needs to be done before we can think about painting. Now here on this side is going to be a little bit less work, because I think I'm going to keep the schist wall. Although we do need to see that we can sort of proof it a little bit for the weather. This part we're going to paint, but also here in the top I added some blocks, so that still needs to be finished off before we can paint it. Here we're also going to need to see how we're going to solve this, because we have this cemented part and the rest is, well, here in the bottom it's schist, and here in the top I cemented the whole row of tijolo. So this needs to be rendered off. Then we need to make a nice window frame here, sort of how do you say, the same size everywhere, like 10 centimeters around or something, and then we keep the rest, we keep the schist. And this window frame eventually also needs to be painted, but it's not there yet. Then we have this side of the house, what is actually not finished off yet. There's a basic layer of render on here. This I cemented all up. So we still need to finish this off. And also you can see different cracks here in the wall. And that is in different places, so these cracks also need to be fixed first, before we can even think about doing painting. What do you guys think? Should we paint this also? You have some time to think about it, because we're not going to paint it anytime soon. Wouldn't it also be nice if this fence is also painted? It first needs to be rendered. I didn't actually ever see anybody comment about painting the, is it called a fence? It's a wall. Painting the fence wall. But that is what I have been thinking about for a couple of times. To render it first and then paint it. What do you think, Zoe? Should we paint the house? Not now. Zoe is just as me, absolutely not bothered by it. And you. And you. So that is full circle around the house. A lot of work to do. A lot of work to do before we even can think about painting the house. And yes, our wall can be cleaned at this point, but we're not going to do it. It's going to look like a mess for a while, guys. As much as I would like to make the house look very nice in every video, it is, as I explained, not as simple as that. The short story is we need to do a lot of work first. There is so much work that needs to be done first. Painting is probably going to be the last step in this project. There will be gutters on this house before we even start painting. To paint or not to paint? That was the question. And hopefully now I have given you the answer. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye! Say bye, Zoe. Bye! If you haven't seen the video from the Make Do Grow channel, go check it out. You'll get some more reasons why houses can't be painted at some point. Who is the next YouTube channel who is gonna explain why they can't paint their house? Let's see.